Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Aaron Crawford once again coming at you with another video off my channel known as Making People Aware. Right now I want to kind of continue off of the last video that I did as far as people with visual impairments and blindness, and today I want to kind of, at this point what I want to do is kind of make you guys aware of what you might find in a blind person's house. As well as how best to treat them, and also to go over some of the different types of blindnesses and give you guys a small list of different diseases to look out for while you're talking to people. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on those because I don't know much about them. But to, when you're asking somebody about it, you'll know what it is at least, and be able to ask them questions and learn more about it. So without further ado, let's make some people aware. So starting off, there are different types of ways that a person can go blind. The main one is genetics. RP is supposed to be genetic. However, nobody with retinitis pigmentosa can actually trace it back to its original genetic strand. I've talked to a couple different people with the same disease, and neither one of them were able to tell me where it first originated in their family. and myself, I don't even really know. There's a couple possibilities, but we're just not aware as of right now which side of the family it starts on, or what, whether it's a recessive or a dominant gene, I don't know. Then you got ones that can develop over time, diseases that develop over time, like retinitis pigmentosa. Even though it's genetic, over time it does cause the eyes to deteriorate, the cones and rods to deteriorate, and will slowly cause somebody to go blind. And then you have accidents that happen all the time. Car wrecks, somebody running into a glass door, somebody accidentally shooting somebody with a nail gun in the eye. These are just a few examples of accidents that could eventually cause somebody to go blind, if only in one eye or the other, or even just visually impaired. So yeah, those are just a few of the ways different types of ways that people can go blind. As far as diseases that people can obtain over time, or be born with, one big one is macular degeneration. Another one's glaucoma. These are the two biggest diseases that I know of. And again, please feel free to leave your comments, questions, and we'll end up having a video eventually to be able to answer those questions or address those comments later on in the channel. I have a friend who has a disease that's her eye has got pressure on her cornea, and she was actually born with a microcornea, I believe. And then finally, and I'm unsure on this one, so please, again, don't hesitate to leave your comments. I believe cataracts, if not treated properly, can eventually cause somebody to have some issues with visual impairment or blindness. I don't know. That one's iffy. They definitely can cause some pain from what I understand. So yeah. So, like I addressed in my last video, excuse me, when you walk into a blind person or a visually impaired person's house, you're going to see a lot of the same items in it. You're going to see board games, TVs, DVD players, kitchen utensils, all sorts of things. What you might notice is that those items are a little different. The game systems and TVs and stuff like that, they're all going to be the same. There's no way to disguise those. But you may look at a measuring cup in their kitchen and notice that it's got a little marker on it to let them know where the 1 cup measuring is at. Or you might look at a kitchen knife and notice that not only does it have the blade, but it's got something else that allows them to be able to determine how far apart the slices need to be. Kind of just help them measure so that way they get the cut right. There's many different things you'll notice. You may look at a board game and go, and see that that board game has Braille on it, or on dice and dominoes, you might see that the numbers are raised. Just little things like that. If you're friends with somebody who has a visual impairment, first off, great for you. You guys are already taking the first step as to how to treat people with disabilities better. That is honestly the first step, is to get to know them and befriend them. But and you sit down to watch a video with them, you might notice that they're using what is called audio descriptive, where literally while they're watching the movie, there is somebody narrating what is happening, going on, and reading the subtitles when somebody speaks in a different language. All these things are what make us different and unique. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said in the last video, it just makes us work harder. So yeah, and another thing you'll notice is that maybe not with paperwork. I know personally, me with paperwork, that's a disaster waiting to happen. I'm never organized with that. But you might notice other things that are more organized or situated a certain way, like their furniture. And you might notice that they're touching each piece of furniture to see where they want to sit, and be able to find out where they're wanting to sit at. However, I dare you, this is a challenge for you people out there. Next time you go over to somebody's house who's visually impaired or blind, I want you to watch them and see how well they move around in their own house, and how well they get around and know where everything's at. And I guarantee you are going to be shocked beyond belief. And it's going to open up a whole slew of conversation for you to get to know them better and learn more about them as people. I lived in several different places over the years, but in that time, and unless it's my grandma's place, then you can forget it. That place is always moving around when she's there, anyways. As long as I have had it situated and I've known where everything is at, I've been able to maneuver around and be able to find everything just fine. But you let somebody else organize my house and you can forget it. I'm gonna be upset, because now I don't know where anything's at. And that is one of the biggest things I want to address with this video, as far as treating people with blindness and visual impairment, is don't mess with their organization. Do not change anything up. If you get something down that can be placed back up, make sure it goes back in the exact same place you found it. Because the last thing we need is for us to have to go looking for that item. Or, if you live with that person and you do move something, stop and think. Remember to either place it back, or to let them know, hey, I accidentally moved this. It's here. Do you want me to move it back? Or is it okay there? And just, if they ask again, remind them where it's at. I'm running low on time here, folks, so I'm going to try to get into this really quickly, a little faster here. So the one thing that, like I said, the first step to being able to treat disabled people with respect is to stop and talk to them and hopefully become their friends. Judge them based off of their personalities, not their looks, or what they're carrying. I understand that different can be scary. Nobody knows that better than I do. Well, except for maybe somebody who's going through the same thing I'm going through. And so just don't hesitate to stop and talk to them. It may be scary at first, but I guarantee you, once you get to know them, unless they're one of those people with disabilities who's holding a grudge against something and they're a really grumpy person, which I apologize for that. Do not judge other disabled people based off of that one person, please. That alone is peevy enough. But the second step is don't discriminate. By all means, do not discriminate against us. There is a reason that the Discrimination Act was placed down, and it wasn't just for people with disabilities. It was for every human being in this world, whether it be because of your sex, your gender, whether you're, whether you're homosexual or bisexual. Those acts were placed down for a reason. Let's use them. Because I don't know about you folks, but I am seriously tired of being looked at differently because of who I am. It's not something we can help, and it's not something we can change. So instead of discriminating, how about stopping and saying hello? And making a new friend. And finally for this video, what I want to go ahead and point out, and actually make aware, because I'm literally almost out of time here, is the biggest way to earn a disabled person's trust and respect is to treat them with respect. Because they're not going to respect you if you can't respect them and if you continue to discriminate. So that's it for now. I'll have another video uploaded here shortly, and we will continue on this thought process. But for now, this is Aaron Crawford signing out. Please make sure to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe.